You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? I'm ready. Hey, this is David with Hagerty on our Redline rebuild updates. Today I'm working on our CT70 trail bike, and I'm finally back onto it, and I'm working on my front triple tree, if you will. So I have my shocks that Mark, if you remember, rebuilt with us at Trail Buddy as far as down in this end. And we need to add oil to them when we're finally assembled, but they're ready to be assembled into the nicely painted tree that Mark also did for us. And I'll tell you what, he did wonders in pounding out and straightening up these chrome covers. And then of course Jason at Jason's chromed these up, and they look good. So everything is ready to go back together. Now we're going to do this a little bit in a kind of a partial subassembly. So in other words, I'm going to assemble it as far as I can. I'm not going to put oil in it yet until it's on the bike. I think that's the right thing to do. And then we'll put this up into the main body when we're ready for it. And then of course that's where all the bearings and all that stuff comes into the neck on the chassis of the bike. Now, here's our rockauto.com tip of the day. When you are refurbishing parts and you paint them, chrome them, powder coat them, whatever it might be, keep in mind as you go back to assemble some things, you may find problems with clearance. So for instance, on these bolts, they slide in there no problem. My threads are good on this painted surface. Now if this was powder coated, you may have to run a tap through your thread to clean them up. And one of the things we're going to have to do here with our painted piece is these will not simply slide in. Now, depending on how that end product is supposed to look, you may have to rethink how you plated them, or maybe had these covered and plated different, whatever it might be. For my purposes, I can just come in here with a sanding wheel, sand this out, make clearance, let it slide up and down, because this pinch bolt will hold it in position. Yee-haw! One done. That worked very good. Cut that out. That goes in there that way. Okay, I know everyone out there screaming at the screen going, "You didn't put any shock oil in it. Why are you putting that on? You're not on the bike." You're 100% correct. And like I said at the beginning, I'm mocking it up so all the pieces are together. And then when I go to put it in, I'll just simply pull these hand tightened bolts out, take the cover off, slide the triple tree up into the neck of the bike, boom. Then we'll fill it, and it'll be done. Just tighten that. Brand new shiny pieces. Well, there we have it. So, as I mentioned, I wanted to just get things all mocked up. I got everything as far as the guts are concerned in place on my fork setup here. I do have the new parts relative to a spacer, and I need to put my blink or my neutral safety, I shouldn't say safety, my neutral light on. But again, right now I can't fit all that together. Everything's not tight, but at least I understand where things are at. And then, well, quite honestly, there's more parts together than left laying out. So then some folks may see it as the gremlins. I know them as the camera crew, Ben, Jordan, and John. Don't move things around on me.
Wait, what was that?
As we move forward, one of the things I see right off the bat is, well, I never bought the tool for this. So this is the spanner nut that holds the bearings tight to the triple tree. So when I took it apart, used a chisel, knocked it off, like everybody does. And now when I go back in, I do want to torque that down. Now, one of the things that I actually enjoy, and maybe this is a little sadistic, but one of the things I really enjoy in a project is creating my own tools to do the function and coming up with different ways to accomplish tasks without running to the store and buying the appropriate tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own spanner out of this piece of tubing that I had laying around my home shop. Basically, it fits around that diameter, and here you can see that if I cut away and leave 4 tangs hanging down, that I can engage this spanner. And this happens to be chrome moly tubing, so it will be more than strong enough to put the amount of torque that needs there. Not that mild steel isn't. And since I have access to a mill, I can come in with a mill, cut those tangs out, fit it, be happy that I made my own tool. Whether I saved any time or not really doesn't matter. It's the accomplishment that matters to me. And then, of course, we'll take and weld something to the end of it so we can torque it to the appropriate spec. I'm going to do that now. Do that. It's easier math. Look at that. Now, it doesn't always happen that way. Just telling you. Sweet.
I can confirm that it was the first try.
It was too. All right, let's get this out of here. Now I got to try to find an old ratty socket, but you can see that now I have a flange tool. Obviously, I'm going to take the burrs off it, and I can torque this down.
And that was all of
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Not bad.
You're being environmentally friendly. You didn't pay to have it shipped here or drive to go get it.
Well, that's 100% correct. And it was just scrap I had laying around. So, what is it? Reuse, recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. There we go. Hot rodders all day long. Oops, put it on the right way. There we go. Well, there we have our spanner tool. Now you notice I put a hex on the end of this. Well, quite frankly, I spent about a half hour running around the shop trying to find those sockets I had laying around, but it appears they may have been sacrificed to the cleanup gods. So we had to improvise with a lug nut. All right, back to the bike. All right, well, here's the belle of the ball. We are going to install the bearings, bearing races up into the neck, both sides, and then put our coil in, start looking at our wiring harness, and then we're going to actually use the engine stand to hold the engine in place and actually bolt the frame to this. I think that's the way it's supposed to work, at least. We'll see what happens. If you remember a few short weeks ago, when we told this apart,
Weeks?
But yeah, it felt like weeks. So I'm upgrading to a tapered bearing opposed to all those little balls that fell out on the floor.
Easier install.
This install's a whole lot easier. Granted, I still have to pack it. Can't have everything. And if you remember, to replace the coil, you have to completely strip down the bike. So guess what we're putting in first? Coil. Well, you can see we added the wiring harness to this. We have the key in, air cleaners in. Things are fairly well tightened down. I'm going to leave you here today with kind of where we started this episode, and that is cleaning out threads. So I talked about at the beginning, clean stuff off relative to paint where the ground and such need to be. And you also probably run into some problems where you go to thread in a fastener and that hole's got some clear coat or paint or whatever, a little bit of buildup. No big deal, just take a run of tap through it and it'll save you some aggravation later and hopefully not having any issue with the cross threading. So I'm going to tap these last couple holes and I'm calling it done for the week, and we will catch you next time. So in the meantime, get out in the shop, get your work done. See ya.